Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, after the last video, Bitcoin dropped a little bit further. Has nearly touched now our support zone here on the daily. Talking about the yellow one. We shouldn't still ignore the larger one in the background here, the main orange support region, because this is really just, or this is really daily support, daily chart support. And this yellow box is the wave 2 support. Wave to support. What's the difference? Well, the orange box is really relevant for the main fourth wave here, which presumably bottomed on the 5th of July, which I assume is the case, as long as the price doesn't break below 56,796. So this is the level that distinguishes between a still unfolding fourth wave for me, and that we're already in the fifth wave to the upside, and that the price started already its journey into the area around 90,000 plus. Why is that the case? Well, because we have seen a 5-wave move up from the 5th of July low, which you know if you followed the updates over the last few weeks. So quite a lot happened actually on this chart, even though if you look at this chart, looks as if not much happened since March. And that was sort of the case until we got to the low point here on the 5th of July. But the first 5-wave rally is quite meaningful, especially on this scale. So we have added this support zone for wave 2, the yellow box, which we also see on the 1-hour time frame. And as long as we're holding above that 78.6 retracement at 56.7, 56.8k, the expectations are for a third wave to take us to $90,000 or higher. So really decent reward to risk ratio. There is nothing bearish about this chart until, of course, there is a, if then. So until the price breaks below 56,796. So if we get that break, of course, then we have to consider, okay, is something more bearish unfolding? Maybe the fourth wave still unfolding, something different going on. But the 5-wave move up makes it less likely that support breaks. Not impossible. Very, very important. So this is really, I think, the time frame that matters here, the daily chart, maybe the 4-hour, 1-hour, not necessarily smaller than that. Important is to understand, okay, where's the trend? The trend is currently up. The trend is up, especially from the 5th of July low, because we have a series of higher highs and higher lows. We have a 5-wave move up. And that's why we are watching for a 3-wave pullback. So you can see we haven't really got a clear 3-wave pullback yet. At least not if we look at it, from a daily time frame perspective. So therefore it looks like this was maybe just the A wave. We get a B wave bounce and then a C wave down. This would be the ideal pattern. Not absolutely needed that we get this clear 3-wave move. There could be a 3-wave move already hidden in these red candles, so we can see that on the 1-hour time frame. Important is just the box, the yellow box, okay? So it can be reasonable to, for example, let's say add positions, scale in, layer in, and buy in tranches. But if you do that, it doesn't so much, depend on the chart. It depends really on your own trading plan, your strategy, your risk management, your risk profile, your exposure to Bitcoin. There's so many things that come into play, which is, well, this is always a personal decision, but what I can share with you is where the price should ideally reverse, or at least look for support. And if the trend is up or down, in my view, it's up. This is a pullback in an uptrend. Now we can see that in a little bit more detail on the 1-hour time frame. The price seems to now be, reaching that yellow support region, which is the support area here on the 1-hour chart for that yellow count, which means we're dealing with 5 waves up into the Monday high, with the price topped around 70,100. That is bullish, which means pullbacks can be opportunities. The key support level here is 56,775, few dollars difference, depending on the exchange. And this is really the main support region now for this setup. A few days ago, I posted already that the yellow wave count is the leading count. The white count, which I've changed now, so the white count allowed for the interpretation of an accelerated 1-2 setup where we said, okay, maybe in an alternative perspective, we have 5 waves up already into the Monday high, but from the 22nd of July, a very shallow wave 2 pullback. Then here another 1-2 setup, but this becomes less likely. So we are now discussing simply if the wave 2 gets a more extended ABC structure or if we are wrapping it up more directly. But in both scenarios, the yellow support area is relevant. And already, yeah, as I said a couple of days ago, made you aware that the yellow count is likely leading. That was on X on Twitter. Make sure you follow us here as well for additional analysis. You can find the links for Twitter, for our Twitter profile, in the video description. And yeah, the text was around the price action from yesterday's price top aligns more closely with an A wave down in the yellow scenario, so that the yellow count is leading. I mean, it did say it on the chart as well. The white count was the alternative. I still didn't want to ignore it because it is still, you know, sometimes when we are really in bullish markets, the pullbacks can be extremely shallow. But that would have required the price to hold here, the upper support region. I've now taken that off the chart. Just want to show everybody who's new on the channel, that we were observing 2 bullish cases with an upper support area and the lower one. Price didn't give us any evidence that the white count is unfolding. It was just a potential, and it would have required a strong, as it said in that update here, a strong impulsive bounce from the current level that approaches the weekend highs to make the accelerated count the more likely one. But that didn't happen. Okay, there was no impulsive break above the weekend highs. So we continue to focus on the yellow count with the yellow support area as, key Fibonacci support. We are entering that support area now. And still, though, there are a couple of ways how this microstructure could be unfolding. Bear in mind, the microstructure isn't really suitable for trading. The levels are. So again, it might be reasonable to look for entries in this area. But that depends on your own trading plan. Important, I think, to realize that there are two ways to really look at this. The first one is that this here is an A, B, C structure, and this will complete all of wave 2. Wave B likely was extremely shallow, but the ABC structure could complete all of wave 2. And that means if the next rally breaks above 66,166, which is the initial resistance only, we could watch for a larger bounce and maybe even already the third wave to the upside. But we haven't quite reached that yellow box, so I would still prefer a little lower. In the yellow count, the immediate move down is only the yellow A wave. So A, B, C in wave A. Then we get a B wave corrective rally, which could even be large this time. This internal one was uncharacteristically shallow, I should say. Just looking for the right word there, but it was not a necessarily typical B wave. Very, very shallow. It actually looks best probably to place the internal A wave here at the low of the 29th of July. So A, B, C. So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we could then still see another larger B wave and a C wave. So anybody who's, for example, starting some positions in the yellow box and we get the larger B wave and we see it's corrective, you know, you could just take some partial profits, use that B wave to take some profits. But if it rallies impulsively, then you should rather hold on to those positions for the third wave rally. I hope that kind of makes sense. That means the correction is likely going to take us maybe into next week, and the boxes are, I mean the levels are clear, crystal clear. There's nothing ambiguous about it. The levels are clear. So if the bulls turn up or not, of course the market decides, but the potential is definitely there. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.